So you might not know this, but you do not have to be led around by your brain. You can lead it. Welcome to the Confident at Work podcast. I'm your host and your confidence coach, Anna Manning. So imagine a toddler running over to you, urgently telling you something very dramatic in that toddler way that they do. You wouldn't automatically believe everything they said or blindly follow their instructions. Chances are, because it's a toddler, you'd recognize that any problem that they're having is probably overblown, probably dramatic. Maybe they're tired, maybe they haven't eaten, I don't know. But your adult brain is not looking at a problem in the same way that a toddler is looking at it. And therefore, when they come over all dramatic and all stressed, it's probably nothing that a cuddle or a little moment's distraction couldn't solve. So you take them by the hand, you'd stay calm, and you would lead them. That is exactly how I want you to think about your own brain. So recently within the Confident at Work program, we started on skill 1. So the first foundational skill that you need to build in order to feel confident at work sustainably and over the long term is to respect yourself, speaking to yourself and dealing with yourself respectfully. And as I was teaching that material, as I was putting it together, it came out in a different way than it had ever come out before. And the way it came out was, let's say that people are at work and they're hearing their inner critic voice give them a hard time about something. I told them that they actually have the option in that moment to lead the situation rather than being led by whatever it is that that critical voice inside their head is going to say. You're this, you should do that, etc. I was like, as soon as you can spot that voice, as soon as you know it's there, take over. You lead. This is your moment to step up and lead the situation. So they've been working on that for a month now, almost a month now, and embedding that practice of leading their own brain, specifically in relation to a moment where that inner critic voice pops up. But actually, the more I've coached clients in the last month since I thought of it in this way, the more I've noticed there are just so many moments where your brain needs to be taken by the hand as if it is a toddler and led, and you can be the one to lead it. And trust me, this works in real life. So I want to share a real life example of mine where I took my toddler brain by the hand and I led. So a few months ago, I was walking into a conference venue in Birmingham to deliver a paid keynote and a workshop to over 200 people. It was a rainy Wednesday morning in Birmingham on this walk through the city centre. I had noticed how many of the women in Birmingham were just looking sharp, really stylish, very modern. And I just noticed this. I'm thinking, these women in Birmingham are cool. Okay. Until I get to the conference venue and I'm walking up this awful patterned carpet on the stairs. You know the type. And suddenly my brain offered me, your outfit looks old-fashioned. Bearing in mind, I'm going to a paid gig where I'm going to talk to hundreds of people about how to feel confident at work. And on my way up the stairs, my brain offered me, your outfit looks old-fashioned. I'm about to stand in front of hundreds of people, and my brain offered me, your outfit looks old-fashioned. Now, years ago, that thought would have just taken over. But this time, I noticed it immediately. And I noticed that little moment of anxiety that kind of crept in, the self-doubt like starting up halfway up those horrible pattern stairs. And I took control. I took that toddler by the hand and I led. I said, Anna, this is not a fashion conference. You're here to help people feel more confident at work. That is what matters. That is what we're here to do. That is what we are going to do, regardless of the outfit that we're wearing. And that voice went quiet. And the funniest thing happened. I got to the top of the stairs, and the first thing that someone said to me was, oh my God, You look so cool. I wish I'd worn a top like that. Classic, eh? But here's the point. Your brain's gonna do stuff. It's gonna say stuff. And it's not about that never happening. It's about learning to notice that it is happening and leading instead of just being sucked in. It's about taking that voice by the hand, taking control in that moment, and leading. So here's a couple of real life examples. Let's say you're in a meeting and your brain says, "Oh, won't say that, you're going to sound stupid." You lead. "Thanks for that opinion. I intend to contribute my point." And off you go. Or let's say you're sat at your laptop and your brain says, "Ooh, this email, don't know, wouldn't send it, probably not good enough." You notice and you lead. "I've checked it. Done is better than endlessly doubting. I'm sending." Or let's say you go to a networking event and you're thinking, "Everyone here seems fine. It's just me who's struggling." You lead. And that might sound like, "We don't actually know that. These people might be bricking it on the inside. And confidence is not a requirement for being in this room. So here we go." That's the work. Not pretending that that voice isn't sometimes there. Not positive thinking, not even fighting with it, because you wouldn't do any of those things to a toddler. You just notice that the toddler is talking, but you wouldn't hand it the steering wheel to decide what happens next. You'd notice it and you lead the toddler, and that's what you're going to do for you. Notice what your brain's doing, step in and lead yourself forward. Because otherwise, you will sit in that meeting, staying quiet, instead of knowing you have a contribution to make and making it. Because otherwise, you will sit staring at that email and fiddling with the grammar until the cows come home when you could have just sent it. Because otherwise, you end up going into the networking event, thinking everyone's more confident than you, freaking out, and then hiding in the toilets and not talking to anyone. Instead of noticing that some other people probably feel like you do and proceeding. Don't always hand your brain the steering wheel. Or if it's got the steering wheel, take it back. Lead yourself forward. You will find that it works wonders for your day and your confidence. If you would like to grow your professional confidence, if you would like to feel more confident at work, there are 2 ways that I work with professionals. The first is in private coaching. So that is where we sit down together, we think about your challenges, the areas where you might be struggling, or the areas where you can't quite show up as confidently as you want or need to. We work through those areas one by one. We get you feeling confident and feeling good, and then you're off. The second way of working with me is within the Confident at Work program. That program trains you, coaches you, and teaches you over time foundational pieces that you need in place, the skills you need in order to be confident, feel confident, and sustain that for the long term. Head to the link in the show notes and book a call to talk to me about either. And I will see you in next week's episode. Bye.
Confident, confident, confident. I can be confident, 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 confident. I can be confident at work.